Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the video. So we were able to time this plus 10 mists, and I just want to give a little bit of commentary on what was going on through it. This is a fully pugged group, and just kind of provide a little bit of like tips and tricks of what we did. So, for example, before we absolutely destroy this first pack, you want to try to stay as grouped as possible, because the further you are, they unlock pretty much this leap ability. So it spreads out, leaps, does a good amount of target to whoever they're leaping to, and so on. This next pull, just make sure you get your kicks. The tank can face the large mob a certain direction, and then no one really has to worry about the frontal. The large mob will also cocoon someone, which will keep them stunned until the cocoon dies or the stun releases. So if you have any defensive against that, or if you have a certain type of ability that you can avoid it, like Bubble there, which is what I did. I believe the Hunter feigned death, just to stop that damage early. That's also very good.
Open your mind to the whispers. Embrace who you truly are.
So right away here, this is when things started to go south a little bit. We freeze the mob there, which is a very normal pack that you would normally skip. But as you'll see, as we fight this trash pack, once that mob gets out of the CC chain, they're going to come over and it's going to cause a lot of chaos and end up wiping our group. And right away I thought, okay, well, someone's probably going to leave, someone's going to be mad, and this will be a failed key. It is what it is. But, like I said, we end up still going strong, and it's fine. But
Watch your feet.
for anyone running this in the future, you can't hunter trap that mob and then expect to run past them. There are a couple methods you could do. So you could, if you have a priest, you could mind soothe
Watch
them.
your feet.
If you have a monk, you can have them paralysis and then also rop them away at the same time. I think Demon Hunters in prison works on them. I don't know all the abilities and all the tricks you could do, but definitely try to do a little research outside of it and see if you have someone in your group that's capable of doing so. And if it's skippable, then great, but if not, it's not the worst trash pack to pull, like you're going to see we're going to do here. Just a couple mobs you have to interrupt, and then those big trust kind of mobs that are using their forearms to carry themselves. They'll do a ground pound at 50% that does a good chunk of group-wide damage. So just make sure you're ready for that, have some defensives, and then just constantly be moving so you can avoid those spikes that come out of the ground.
Watch your feet. Watch your feet.
Here, if you coordinate with the healer, you could probably go ahead and cleave both of these down. It's just when both of them are at 50%, it's going to cause a lot of damage. But like I said, if you coordinate with their healer, or if your healer's cracked out of their mind, you can have some defensives probably be popped here, and then just go on with your DPS.
Watch your feet.
Open your mind to the
Watch your feet.
Embrace who you truly are.
Watch your feet. Watch your feet.
So for anyone not familiar with these two mobs during the fight, focus the tall one first, get them down to 20% health, and then the little one's going to take an additional 50% damage for, I'd say, like 15 seconds or so. And that is when you want to pop all your major cooldowns, pop Lust, and get them down as quickly as possible. As a paladin, I can pop my wings right away because they'll be back within 30 seconds. And I knew by the time we got this guy to 20%, they would be back up for the burst phase. Other than that, watch your feet on the swirlies, kick Spirit Bolt as often as you can to kind of help out damage on your group. And then if you don't get to this phase, which is going on right now, fast enough, they will cast a fear on you. I think it's called Repulsive Visage. So if you have a shaman in your group with Tremor Totem, or if you have a way to stop fears getting on you, just have that button ready to go, because it's about a 3-second fear, and other than that, you just have to eat it up. Watch swirlies, watch the placement, and that's pretty much the fight in a nutshell.
Interrupt. Watch your step. Fear incoming. AOE incoming. Interrupt.
Alright, so don't forget that bulb over there on the left. Some people don't know this, but the first portal that Fairy goes through in this maze, you can actually just walk right through that. You don't have to do like this first 4 puzzle here. Just walk through whatever gate she went to first. Some people can mark the Fairy, and then if they've done this dungeon long enough, you can kind of see the route they would even take for the second portal. I'm not that good, but by all means, if you are, mark the Fairy and then try to keep eyes over on her path for the next one. She actually walks through the entire maze, and I don't think I've ever met anyone who knows exactly what to do, or I don't know if there's any add-on specific stuff to this, but some people are able to get the first 2 right away. The first one's pretty obvious. And, yeah, other than that, you have 2 mobs you have to kick. It's the Tender and then the Bramblewood one. The Bramblewood will give a shield that can be dispelled. The Tenderer will give a healing over time that actually pretty much heals the mobs up to full. We've actually, I think, out of all the trash packs, like I think 4 or 5 trash packs, we let the cast go off twice. So we basically had to kill the mobs all over again, which was very annoying. Other than that, you have a fox and a moth that also kind of runs around and does some AoE damage. I'm not too focused on that because I just tried to Zug Brain DPS the mobs down. The big ones you have to watch out for if you're a tank are the Guardians, because they'll do an Anima Slash on you. And if there's 2 Guardians and they get both Anima Slashes, it'll do major upfront damage, and then it puts a nasty dot on you. I think we actually end up wiping here again to Anima Slash specifically, and that just decreases more of our time, and you know, we have less of a window to finish the dungeon and time it.
Interrupt.
So that's pretty much all of these in a nutshell. As you go on too, you might get a mini-boss. I think you will always get some type of mini-boss. If it's a dragon, it does a frontal and leaves a pool of healing. You have to have the tank drag it out. If it's a frog, it does a frontal attack that will hold still once it casts, and you can actually move as the tank, never face it towards your group, or have DPS stand in front of it. It will also try to belly slam someone. And then I think the third one is like a 3-headed plant, and it will do a triple bite attack on the tank, which is a little bit of a tank buster, and then it will leave a poison on the tank as well, which can be cleansed or dispelled.
Embrace who you
Actually, I almost die there, so I do a safety bubble. And that's pretty much the maze in a nutshell. Other than that, you have to look at all these altars, and you have to figure out which shape is out of place. So it's a little annoying of a puzzle. Some, it's very, very obvious, like there can be 3 flowers and 1 leaf. And then some, it can take some time. And here's the wipe, actually. So our tank just gets absolutely deleted by the Guardians, casting Anima Slash on him, and just dies. I think we end up losing 2 more guys. We pick the trash mobs back up. We were able to keep it, so it wasn't a full reset at least. But he actually almost dies again in this pull. And then from this point on, I keep an eye on the tank, and if he gets low, I have a lay on hands ready for him.
Embrace who you truly are.
Watch your step.
Alright, so looking back at the footage, we did end up getting the plant boss, mini boss, and the only thing I missed out on saying is it looks like some swirlies land at your feet. So try to dodge those best you can, or else you're probably going to get one-tapped. This is probably the easiest
Watch your
one
step.
out of the 3, in my opinion. Not much here. You can just cleanse the tank of the poison if you have someone, and doesn't really do anything to wipe the group in like one shot, other than the swirlies if you don't move.
Watch your step.
You did it! Good guess.
Interrupt.
Open your mind to the whispers. Embrace who you truly are.
Try again.
Alright, this is what I was talking about. Some are super easy, some are pretty annoying, and sometimes make you have to double look, but if you end up getting the wrong one, you just all get transported to the beginning of the maze, and you lose out on like 15-20 seconds walking all the way back where you were, and then you also have to double check all of the patterns. So that one's leaf, circle filled in. This one's flower not filled in. That one over there is leaf not filled in. And then that one over there is flower. So the only one that's weird is this was the only one with a circle. And it's like that the entire dungeon. It even has that theme during the boss fight, which can get pretty hectic when you're trying to dodge all their mechanics and then try to solve a puzzle at the same time.
Interrupt.
No fooling you.
Alright, so we make it to the boss. There's a couple mechanics here you have to keep track of. If you're a DPS, you have to not stand on the lines that come from the boss, so you have to stand in the middle. It's very hard if you're ranged to see them, so you probably want to be pretty close. And then she's going to cast Freeze Tag, which is basically going to summon this puppy dog, and if it touches whoever it fixates on, everyone around them and the player it touches will be frozen. And it'll do a crap ton of damage, and it'll suck. Here's the puzzle. It's the same thing going through, except all of these sprites are doing massive AoE damage the entire time, so it's super important to find it as soon as possible. If you have any cooldowns, burst it down, so then you can get back to this phase. If you're a tank, the boss is going to cast a spell called Patty Cake,
Stay away from
and
lines.
if she gets that spell off on you, you're pretty much going to get one shot. So as soon as you see Patty Cake coming off as the tank, you have to kick that. Thankfully, the dog she casts for Freeze Tag
Stay
can
away
be
from lines.
CC'd by all types of CC. Stuns, slows, disorients, freezing trap.
Embrace who you truly are.
We get a little unlucky here with the guessing game timing and the spawn of Xalatath.
Stay away from lines.
So you have to do all of this while avoiding the lines, avoiding the dog, Xalatath's bargain, and the tank still having to kick Patty Cake during this phase. If you're a healer on
Stay
this,
away
bless
from
your
lines.
soul, you're just basically healing a ton of damage. I would say if you're DPS and things are getting hairy during that phase, that's probably the best time to pop any defensives you have. This phase here, pretty simple, pretty easy.
away from
She's going to
lines.
do the guessing game mechanic 3 times. One around 50%, and then, or maybe it was like 60%. After a good chunk of health is gone, the second one around like, I think 40/30%. The last one for sure at 10% here. She'll
Stay
cast
away
it.
from
So she'll never
lines.
randomly cast it. She'll do it 3 times during the fight.
Run out.
So here I thought I'm doing everything well, bursting
Stay
the
away
boss
from
down,
lines.
and then I move over from those lines, and then I get caught right there on a stray one that I saw just at the end. So actually die there. I think someone else dies here too. Yeah, the
Stay
tank
away from
misses
lines.
kick on Patty Cake, and as you can see, it just absolutely annihilated him. Thankfully, our DPS was able to clutch up though, and we were able to kill boss. If you die here, don't make the mistake of releasing. It's much faster to get a res from your healer than to run the entire maze. All of the mists on the maze opens up, and there's a little bit of RP here anyway, so you're kind of just standing around until the mist here clears up. So if you are, I think, a druid you can do that secondary respawn. It's very important to bring a druid in this because they'll open up all the shortcuts, they'll open up those mushrooms in the beginning, and they can unlock all the respawns for you. Otherwise, you would have to run the entire maze to get back to wherever you wipe from this point. So this, I don't know the name of these mobs, and I don't really care to learn them, but the giant one out of the group will cast a resistance absorb shield, and will do a kind of a channeled heal on himself and then all the mobs around him. So prioritize the biggest ones. The small mobs are just super annoying, just AoE them down. And then some of these mobs is going to cast some poison rings around you and your team. Just spread out as you see fit. And then also watch this acidic globule that hits the ground. If you get hit by that, you'll probably get one shot. And if you don't get one shot, you'll get flung like 20 feet back and probably knocked off the edge. So be super careful. Other than that, you'll have some patrolling flying monsters. I think they do a leap towards range DPS. I might be wrong on that. Yeah, so there you go. Just leapt. Does a little bit of damage. Looks like it puts a nasty poison on them as well. So dispel definitely whenever you can. Pop defensives whenever you can. Just help out your healers. And then that's the trash leading up to the last boss here. Essentially just rinse, repeat. Watch your percentage. Most of the time, by the time you make it to the boss, depending on your tank's route, usually if you just stick straight left, you're going to be down a little bit of percentage. So it's a good idea to go ahead and pull some of the trash mobs personally to get the percentage first. Because by then, when you pull the boss, you could probably have Lust back up by that time, mid-fight, ideally.
Watch your step.
Open your mind to the whispers. Embrace who you truly are.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
So like I mentioned, it might be a good idea to pull some trash mobs, but the tank wanted to go straight for the boss, which is a fine tactic as well. We just probably won't have Lust during this fight, and thankfully we didn't wipe. If we did, we wouldn't have timed this dungeon. So this boss is super ginormous and also super annoying. So those poison bombs that get dropped there, they're gonna track your player's movement, and the next time he casts it, the next poison bomb, there'll be 2. And then it'll land on wherever your character last was when it ended.
Watch your feet.
I hope that makes sense. So you'll see the next acid bomb that comes out, I'm going to have to dodge 2 swirlies. And one will go straight left. And then the next one he's going to cast will be 3 swirlies. And then it'll go all the way in that back corner where it was last time. And then so on until the boss is dead. You'll just have a ton of swirlies to dodge, I mean. The boss lost around 30% health or so and did a consumption, which is a ginormous AoE damage and a bunch of swirlies on the ground that will just instantly one-shot you. So be aware that around every 30% or so they will do it, but he'll only do it 2 times per fight. So if you're able to survive the second one, just stay locked in and try your best to keep fighting the boss. Another mechanic is called Mind Link. Everyone in the dungeon will have a tether Mind Link on them, and you have to run away from each other. Paladins, it's very easy. You can just get on your steed and book it a certain direction. But classes that are a little more slow, just try to keep in mind when that Mind Link comes out, if you're a range class, just try to preemptively move away from everyone and you won't take much damage. If you stay linked on a plus 10 or higher for a long time, like maybe 5 seconds or so, you're going to take a ton of unnecessary damage. As soon as the Mind Link ends, or as soon as he starts casting Mind Link, he'll also do that poison AoE in front of him, which will also tether you and pull you into him a little bit. There'll be some resistance, but just,
Kill ads.
it's not too bad. I think you can backpedal faster than how hard that thing pulls you in. I'm trying to think. Other than that, there's going to be ads that come in the fight too. They fixate on a player. Try to just stack on the tank so all of the AoE can go on there. Here, I go ahead and do the Mind Tether. I know I could probably just stay in and fight, but I didn't want to do any extra damage where it wasn't needed on our team. And then that's it. That's the boss in a nutshell there. I think I tabbed out for something, so music cut out. And we're a little bit low on percentage. So we pull just a couple more trash, and we have about 2 minutes to spare by the end of this. So I'll let the dungeon finish out here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you liked this video, kind of commentary and dungeon guide-ish content, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow for more. I stream over on Twitch and TikTok as well. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
I told you that open your